It seems like every week we've got a story about liberal lunacy on campus. We're going to discuss this in a moment with the gentleman who joins us now, Admiral William McRaven, who is, by the way, the Chancellor of the University of Texas system. I think that's the correct expression.
That is correct. Nice.
You are a former Navy SEAL, and you're the guy who ran the raid on bin Laden, is that correct?
I did.
Well, we're going to talk to you about your job now at the Chancellor of the Texas system. Are there going to be any safe spaces in the Texas system?
Well, you know, we encourage all the young men and women coming to any of our institutions to get out and learn new ideas, to challenge conventional wisdom. We believe in free speech. In fact, I encourage the students to debate all the issues, to dissent where they need to, but to do so in a lawful, appropriate manner. So this is kind of a couple of the themes that we're trying to ensure that we instill in all of our students coming up through the ranks.
Do you see yourself as the new man in this chancellorship as holding the line and reversing the trend towards political correctness on campus?
No,
you going to hold that line?
Well, I think that what you see is the presidents of our institutions, and we have 8 academic institutions and 6 health-related institutions. And the presidents of the institutions run their separate institutions. So President Greg Finvez runs the University of Texas at Austin, our flagship university, and does a magnificent job. And really it's their responsibility to make sure they're working with the student councils, with the faculty. But at the end of the day, this is about free speech. It is about discovering new things as you come in as a student. You know, you want to walk away after 4 or 6 years really with an understanding, I think, of how the world works, not just you know, your view of the world when you stepped onto the campus grounds.
You're being very diplomatic, Mr. Chancellor. You don't want to come right out and say political correctness is killing us. You don't want to say that.
No, and
I'll say it.
Well, feel free to say it, but I think what you find is it depends on where you go to school. I think, in general, in the state of Texas, young men and women come in, they are a little bit more conservative than across the rest of the nation. But I'm not sure that's it. I mean, again, I will tell you, we encourage the students to come in and, again, challenge conventional wisdom. We encourage the faculty to challenge conventional wisdom. But they need to have this debate. It needs to be a robust debate. It needs to be, you know, it needs to be in an open forum where people can share their ideas. Nobody should feel constrained on the conservative side or the liberal side about coming and speaking their mind on any of our campuses.
As the man who ran the raid on bin Laden, I'd like to ask you about the war on terror.
Sure.
Seems to me that we're doing very well when we take the fight to the enemy overseas.
Absolutely.
But not doing terribly well when it comes to defending ourselves against terror at home. What do you say?
Yeah, I would agree with you. And I think the work that is going on in Iraq and in Syria to really push back ISIS, the work that's going on globally with our counterterrorism forces against some of the al-Qaeda franchises is magnificent. It is very difficult as we have seen, as the Europeans have seen, to stop this kind of radicalization, particularly internet radicalization, or young men and women that are going to Libya, going to Syria, becoming radicalized and coming back. It's just a very difficult problem. But I will tell you, I think between our local law enforcement, our federal law enforcement agencies, our intelligence agencies, we are working together better now than we ever have. Does that mean that we don't have problems? Does that mean that we're not going to have another attack? It does not. But I got to tell you, prior to 9/11 and what I saw right after 9/11, the work that happens within the interagency, the collaboration between the intel agencies and the law enforcement agencies is as good as it has ever been.
I want to ask you about your book. I like the title, Make Your Bed, Little Things That Can Change Your Life and Maybe the World. That looks to me like advice to youngsters. That's what it is.
Yeah, actually, it's advice to everybody. And this
give advice. I've got 9 grandchildren, 12 and under. Give them advice.
Yeah, the idea of making your bed is, one, it's a simple task to perform. You know, if you get up every morning and you make your bed, then it encourages you to do another task and another and another. And by the end of the day, you've accomplished a lot. It is also a reminder that the little things matter. What we learned in SEAL training was not only make your bed, you better make it right. And if you can't do the little things right, as we learned in SEAL training, if you can't make your bed correctly, then how are you ever going to lead a SEAL operation?
You miss it, don't you?
I do miss it.
I know you do. I could tell.
But I would also add that I think for the business folks that are out there that are listening to this, it is as much a business book as it is, you know, a book for young adults, because you're going to fail in business. I mean, you need to learn to understand that at the end of the day, we all fail. You got to pick yourself back up. You're going to have dark moments that you have to overcome, and you better do the little things right in business, or you will never do the big things right.
As a newly minted American citizen, thank you very much for all that you've done for this great country, sir. We appreciate it.